A nation divided, the dismissal of Yoav Gallant. The dismissal of Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on November 5, 2024, sent shockwaves through the nation. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's decision sparked immediate controversy. It exposed deep fissures within Israeli society. The removal of Gallant, a respected military figure, raised questions about the government's direction. The timing, amidst escalating tensions, further fueled public anxiety. Many saw Gallant as a voice of reason and moderation. His departure left a void in the security establishment. The nation grappled with the implications of this dramatic move. The political landscape shifted dramatically. Gallant's dismissal was not a sudden event. It was the culmination of mounting disagreements with Netanyahu. These disagreements centered on crucial national security issues. Gallant's public pronouncements contrasted sharply with the prime minister's stance. This created a rift within the government. The tension between the two leaders escalated over time. It eventually reached a breaking point. Netanyahu cited a loss of trust as the reason for the dismissal. However, many believe the true reasons lay deeper. The clash of personalities and ideologies played a significant role. The dismissal came at a precarious moment for Israel. The nation faced multiple security challenges. The ongoing conflict with Hamas remained a critical concern. The threat from Iran loomed large. Domestic tensions were also on the rise. Gallant's removal added another layer of complexity to this volatile situation. The stability of the government was called into question. The public's confidence in the leadership wavered. A sense of uncertainty permeated the nation. The dismissal of Gallant raised fundamental questions about Israel's future. What direction would the government take on key security issues? How would the nation navigate the complex challenges it faced? These questions weighed heavily on the minds of Israelis. The answers remained elusive. The future seemed uncertain. The nation held its breath. The political climate grew increasingly tense. The fallout from Gallant's dismissal continued to reverberate. Contentious issues, fault lines in Israeli society. At the heart of the Gallant-Netanyahu rift lay three critical issues. These issues exposed deep divisions within Israeli society. They highlighted fundamental disagreements about the nation's future. The first issue revolved around the IDF draft and exemptions for ultra-Orthodox Jews. Gallant advocated for universal conscription. He believed that all citizens should share the burden of national defense. Netanyahu, under pressure from his coalition partners, favored maintaining the exemptions. This issue touched a raw nerve in Israeli society. The second contentious issue was the handling of hostages held by Hamas. Gallant prioritized their safe return. He was willing to consider concessions to achieve this goal. Netanyahu took a harder line. He insisted on a decisive victory over Hamas. This difference in approach created a significant point of contention between the two leaders. The families of the hostages pleaded for their loved ones' release. The nation watched anxiously as the situation unfolded. The third issue that fueled the disagreement was the need for a thorough inquiry into the October 7th attacks. Gallant called for a state commission of inquiry. He believed it was essential to learn from the mistakes of the past. Netanyahu resisted this idea. He feared that an inquiry would expose government shortcomings. This issue highlighted the tension between accountability and political expediency. The public demanded answers. These three issues, the IDF draft, the hostage situation, and the October 7th inquiry, became flashpoints in the Gallant-Netanyahu conflict. They represented deep-seated divisions within Israeli society. They underscored the challenges facing the nation. They raised fundamental questions about Israel's identity and future. The disagreements highlighted the complexities of governing a nation facing multiple threats. The stakes were high. The tensions were palpable. The nation watched and waited. Gallant's plea, a call for unity and accountability. In his emotional farewell address, Gallant issued a stark warning. He spoke of a moral darkness descending upon Israel. He called for unity and accountability. His words resonated with many Israelis. They saw in him a leader who put the nation's interests above his own. His plea for unity struck a chord with a nation grappling with internal divisions. His message was clear and concise. Gallant reiterated his unwavering commitment to Israel's security. He described it as his life's mission. He spoke passionately about the sacrifices made by Israeli soldiers. He honored the fallen. He expressed his deep concern for the hostages and their families. His words carried weight. He spoke from the heart. Gallant's address was a powerful indictment of the current political climate. He criticized the government's handling of key security issues. He lamented the lack of transparency and accountability. He called for a change of course. His words were a wake-up call for the nation. Gallant's farewell address was a moment of profound significance. It captured the anxieties and frustrations of many Israelis. It offered a glimmer of hope in a time of uncertainty. It reminded the nation of its core values. It was a call to action. It was a plea for unity. It was a moment that would not be forgotten. His words resonated across the political spectrum. Section 4: Public outcry and political fallout. Gallant's dismissal triggered a wave of public protests. Thousands took to the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. They expressed their outrage at Netanyahu's decision. They demanded Gallant's reinstatement. The protests were a visible manifestation of the deep divisions within Israeli society. The public outcry was loud and clear. The political fallout from Gallant's dismissal was swift and dramatic. Opposition leaders condemned Netanyahu's actions. They accused him of putting his own political interests ahead of the nation's security. The Knesset was in turmoil. The government's stability was in question. The political climate grew increasingly polarized. President Isaac Herzog issued a stern warning. He called for calm and restraint. He urged all sides to work together to resolve the crisis. His words carried moral authority. He was a voice of reason in a time of turmoil. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum issued a heartfelt plea. They urged the new defense minister to prioritize the release of the hostages. They reminded the nation of the human cost of the ongoing conflict. Their voices were filled with anguish and despair. They represented the human tragedy at the heart of the political crisis. Section 5: Navigating the Future. Implications for Israel. Gallant's dismissal raised profound questions about Israel's future. How would the nation navigate the complex security challenges it faced? How would it heal the deep divisions within its society? The answers remained elusive. The future seemed uncertain. The nation faced a crossroads. The dismissal underscored the fragility of Israeli democracy. It highlighted the tensions between the executive and legislative branches of government. It raised concerns about the erosion of democratic norms. The implications for the future of Israeli governance were substantial. Gallant's legacy as a voice of moderation and reason would endure. His commitment to Israel's security would be remembered. His call for unity and accountability would continue to resonate. His words would serve as a reminder of the nation's core values. Israel faced a difficult path ahead. It would need to find a way to bridge the deep divisions within its society. It would need to address the pressing security challenges it faced. It would need to restore public trust in its leadership. The future of the nation hung in the balance. The challenges were immense. The stakes were high. The nation would need to summon its collective strength to navigate the turbulent waters ahead.